So we're going to consider a problem here where we're going to use the squeeze theorem. Let's just work our way through the problem. If x squared plus 4x plus 5 is less than or equal to f of x, which is less than or equal to cosine of x plus 2, for all x between -3 and -1, we want to find the limit as x approaches -2 of f of x if it exists. Now it may be worthwhile to go in here and just see what these graphs look like. So I'm going to go in here in my calculator, and I've already put these two functions in. And so let's take a look at the graph and see what we're talking about. All right, so we can see, we know that this top one up here is the x squared plus 4x plus 5. That's the quadratic one. That's the graph is a parabola. And this one down here, the periodic one, is the cosine function. Let me zoom in a little bit. I'm interested in what's going on here at -2. So I'm going to zoom in over here pretty close to -2 and just see what's going on. Okay, so I can see that here's the x squared plus 4x plus 5, and here's that cosine function. Now, what we're asked to do is find the limit of the function that's between these two at -2. So we don't know what f of x looks like, but we know it's some function that is trapped between these two things right here, at least, somewhere close to -2. And so the way we're going to do this is by using the squeeze theorem. And the squeeze theorem is really pretty straightforward. It says that, if I know that I've got a function that's between two others, and if I can find the limit at the top one, and I can find the limit at the bottom one, then because this other one is squeezed in between, it's got to have the same limit. As long as those other two limits are going to the same place. So, because we know that f of x is between these two right here, if we can find the limit at each one of these, then if they both equal the same thing, then what we know is that this f of x will have the same limit. So let's evaluate the limit as x approaches -2 of x squared plus 4x plus 5. Now all we're going to do here is just take -2 and plug it in place of x. We can see we can do this limit by simple substitution. So this would give me a positive 4. This would give me a -8. So between those two, that would give me a -4. And then add that to 5. It looks like this is going to equal 1. Okay. What about the limit as x approaches -2 of cosine x plus 2? Okay, well, that would be, looks like we can do simple substitution here as well. This would just be cosine of -2 plus 2, which is cosine of 0. And we know that cosine of 0 is equal to 1. And so because both of these functions right here head off towards 1, and since f of x is trapped in between those, when we take the limit here as x approaches -2 of f of x, we know that that also has to equal 1. And that's using the squeeze theorem.